Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. And by George, I hope everybody's doing well. And we're really just right into the issues of today. We're right in the midst of trying to find solutions to our problems and bringing the City of Roses back right here in the Portland area, but bringing this state back, bringing this country back. I mean, this is a wake-up call. And so consequently, that's basically what the shows are going to be doing from this point on until we get this thing solved. Because it's all here. It's just a matter of, it's not gone. We just have to just realize that some of us are just relaxing a little bit too much and are not reacting to it. And naturally, our system doesn't work. Okay, I'm getting a small cramp right now. Isn't that something?
It's not good. Well, you have been sitting here for nearly 3 hours, so that'll do it.
Okay, as you can see, you got this young fella here. I had to get him on this last show aspect of it. And I want to make sure that I get John Leuenberger on. You might have heard that name, Leuenberger. John, his father was on the show a number of times. He ran for office a number of cases. He was a lawyer, an attorney. Besides being a full-time lawyer, that's basically where his means were. He'd come on the show, the Oregon Voters Digest, and we were doing a number of things and being very supportive. And so he's not with us today, and
nope.
He's passed away, and unfortunately.
Yep, we talked about it on a past episode. We did a little bit of more memorial to him, but we just. I don't know if celebrate's the right word.
And now we got the young man now.
Celebrated his 5-year anniversary of his death on the 2nd.
Oh, did you?
So
2nd of December, right?
2nd of December, 2020 is when he passed.
Okay.
And he's missed.
Wow.
He's missed by not just his family. Let's say that. But you grew up in that. I did. I grew up. So he taught me a lot of stuff that I hope to be able to do one day. He taught me a love for the Constitution. That's why I really enjoyed Mr. Jackson earlier being on the previous episode, informing everybody what the Constitution is about.
Yes.
Why it's so important. Those are things that my dad thought about and really focused on in his life. If you remember his website, it was rights.com. It has since been purchased, unfortunately, but he felt his purpose in life was to help people fight for their rights. He was a criminal defense attorney primarily, then he became more general towards the end of his career because criminal defense just wasn't making him happy. He wanted to get a little more complicated, and you knew my dad.
And that's where the action was. Too.
He loved getting into the dirt.
Yeah. Well, that's how we met, so to speak. And the custodians were having some major issues here in the city of Portland.
I remember.
And they were trying to get, in all due respect, they were targeting black custodians. I'll be right up front with you. But the custodian, I learned all of a sudden the definition of custodians, if you will. They were very, very important to the school system, okay? There were many things. But then the unions came in, and all of a sudden, a lot of things changed. But your father was there. We went to the state Supreme Court on this.
Well, let's speak to that, right? So I grew up in a home that obviously race is a part of this society. It's become a major part of the society. A lot of people...
Since Lincoln. And still is.
Right. Well, I grew up in a home where I wasn't judged based on... Or my parents didn't judge people based on the color of their skin, like Martin Luther King Jr. envisioned one day. My father, when he helped people in this state, because that's where he was representing people in the state of Oregon, he did not care what the color of your skin was. You were a person to him. You were an important person to him because he knew where you actually came from. A lot of people, they have this problem not knowing Where did we come from?
Yeah.
Where are we going? All of those things. My father, being the religious man that he was, and believing firmly that we are all children of a God, that no person is better than another person based on the color of their skin. That's not at all how my father saw people. He saw people as the beautiful children of God that they are. And he wanted every day to help people make sure that they got the rights that they were guaranteed by the Constitution of this United States. It was a mission that he felt, and I'm trying to push forward. I care deeply about this country. I care deeply about the Constitution. I think it was divinely inspired. One thing that I really I liked that Mr. Jackson was doing his telling you of where it came from, right? While the founders had all of those sources, the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights from England, those men, I believe, and let's just take George Washington and one of the last battlefronts he was on. What did he do before that fight? He prayed to God for direction. I firmly believe that the founding fathers, that prayer was deeply involved in the writing of the Constitution, and that God inspired that document. You can say what you will about how some of the founders owned slaves. Sadly, that was a part of the trade back then. And some of the worst people committing slavery were the English. And it only got perpetuated here because that was the means by which they actually were able to maintain their economy. Lincoln did the right thing. He freed the slaves as they should have been freed from the beginning, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
They killed him.
That's why, well, and then they killed Lincoln, yes, but
Don't stop.
I don't think the founding fathers were so uninspired to believe that African Americans or whoever was enslaved at the time would remain enslaved.
Well, Washington, there was a photo of a person of color on the boat. Remember that?
Yeah.
You got me? But then Lincoln, who was a lawyer, right? Remember that? He cared. Yeah, he was a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay, he became president of the United States.
Yep.
And he recognized it. And then when he became president, he said, okay, fine. No, wait a minute now. This Constitution, it's all men.
And I think that's how God intended it. God does not intend us to be enslaved.
Yep.
Just look at how he freed the children of Israel from the Egyptians and all of the other people. If they, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, the children of Israel are normally, the Jews are normally seen as God's chosen people, right? What has God done to help his chosen people? He has freed them from slavery numbers of times, even though sometimes they didn't deserve it or they weren't humble enough. He still provided a way for them to be free because we are meant to be free. We are meant to have liberty. We are meant to be able to speak our minds. We were meant to be able to defend ourselves. These are deep characteristics that cannot be taken away, or found fundamental beliefs that can't be taken away. The Declaration of Independence, one of my favorite documents of that time, says that all men are created equal by their creator, right? Or they're endowed, I messed it up. They are endowed with certain unalienable rights by their creator. No man can take those rights away from you. And it is our job, as it continues on, to institute a government that will maintain those rights.
Right.
That's what the Constitution is supposed to be about. And if we come to a point where maybe it might be similar to what the founding fathers did, their rights were being not valued by the King of England at the time.
Yeah.
He said, and Thomas Jefferson famously said, that it is our duty as a people to overthrow those oppressors. But we will, as we can see right now, nearly 250 years after the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, or that those we're suffering injustices at this time. If I may be so bold, we have enough injustices to overthrow the current form of government and reinstitute what the founding fathers originally intended. We have the ability to, but we're so used to being comfortable that we won't, until people are dying left and right, and they kind of are. They're taking drugs, just like the Command Sergeant Major said in your last episode. We have people dying in the hundreds of thousands every year because of drug overdose, because life is unbearable. It's unbearable. The young people that you guys referenced that are wanting to kill themselves, I sadly count myself in that class. What, other than my love of God, it feels like the people who are supposed to be helping us and listening to us and following our direction aren't. They're telling us what to do. They're taxing us at obscene rates. And they're making life extremely uncomfortable and unbearable. And that's why people are turning to alcohol. That's why people are turning to drugs. That's why people are giving up and killing themselves. This is not what the founding fathers intended.
No, you're right.
We have people in this, in the federal system, Congress. There's no term limits. We have people who have been in there for decades who aren't doing anything to help the American people. Instead, they're collecting massive paychecks from donors, from corporations, to suppress certain things that the American people want. Look at Nancy Pelosi. The amount of money, well, she's not the only one, but she's one of the most prominent. The amount of money her and her husband have made on stock trades with the insider information that Congress has on all of the things that companies do. They're talking about it in committee. They're talking about X company, Y company, Z company, and they all have this information that we are not privy to as American people. And the people that we've elected, that we've said, please represent me fairly, honestly, they're saying, oh, well, if I make this specific stock trade right before the news comes out, I'm going to be a millionaire. And they have this love of money, which, as we read in the Bible, is evil. A love of money that is evil. We, I am afraid, have become a godless country. And knowing what I know about the founders and their deep belief in God, that the First Amendment not only did it protect their ability to speak freely, but to practice religion freely, is key. It's the First Amendment for a reason. And just because you have free speech doesn't belittle religious freedom as well. That's in the First Amendment.
Of the Constitution.
Of the Constitution of the United States, right. Of the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment is that we can say what we want and believe what we want, and you can't be punished for that. Unless, as the Supreme Court has stated, you do something stupid like call fire in a crowded area and there's no fire to be had. That is dangerous. They've found that people who do that cause people get hurt. So they have restricted that free speech in a sense, but You should be able to say what you want, how you want, when you want. And you can have repercussions. People might not talk to you, but you shouldn't be punished by the government for that. And yeah, it's disappointing because I didn't used to believe that God cared about this country. I didn't believe in God, period. God, I felt abandoned me, which is false. I abandoned God. But I've found that as I've reconnected with him, I've understood that he cares deeply about his children, and we are all his children, and he wants us to be free. And he hates when people take away his children's freedom. And I just don't know how much longer we can stave off the wrath of God in this country. I mean, it's been 250 years, and look what we've become. Look where we started, and look where what we've become. What's going to change? How are we going to fix it? What do we need to start doing? Oh, I don't know. Maybe be humble. Humble. Admit that you don't know everything, because you don't. And to believe that you do does you a great disservice. You don't know everything. You should be on your knees praying to God every single day and asking, because he knows. He knows what's best for this country. And our leaders I fear, are not doing that. I strongly believe that we need better and stronger leadership, not only on the national level, but here in Oregon.
Like whom?
Well, we've got Congress, or we've got our own House and Senate, right? We have our own governor. We have our own setup: executive, legislative, judicial.
Yep.
Just like the federal government, which the founders, if they knew that we had the system that we have, where the feds are the big Fed that we have, they're rolling in their graves right now. They did not intend for the federal government to be as large as it is, and that's alarming. They wanted it to be separate states that governed themselves, and then when they needed to, they relied on each other, but they did not intend for one big overarching government to oversee 50 little states, or
But they were all sitting at the table.
Who? The founders?
The federal government, yeah.
Well, so yes, but the federal government was much smaller.
Yeah, but I'm still saying
than it is now.
But all those entities in the various states, they make up that piece.
They do, right? But it wasn't until Lincoln that we actually had the big S.
Okay.
Or the what was it? Big. It didn't used to be capital U, capital S, capital A.
Right.
One of those letters, I can't remember which. I'll have to go back. Was a lowercase letter, and it was 1, 2, 3, but the federal aspect was smaller. We were meant to be taking care of our own issues within the state level.
Exactly.
You didn't need the Fed. You shouldn't need the feds, because the feds, all they do is tax people at an alarming rate to justify all of the people that they're employing every single day. Just look at. You talked about taxes with Mr. Jackson on the first episode. Look at how little the tax rate was for the founders when they decided to revolt, and look at what it is now for us in just Oregon. I think the wealthiest are getting taxed at nearly 10% in the state of Oregon. That's an income tax, state income tax. Not to mention the scale. I mean, that's the most. It's lower if you make less. It's the same scale at the federal level, but what are they doing? What are they justifying? Where's the money going? Is what I want to know. And when I heard this week that we're filming earlier in the month, but today is the 6th of December. But I heard that our I don't know how to say it benevolent leader, Tina Kotek, if you will, governor of Oregon, who's not from Oregon, by the way. She's from Pennsylvania. Go figure. She decided she's going to seek re-election in the fine state of Oregon.
What do you think about that?
I think it's an injustice to every Oregonian who lives in this great state.
Why?
She has done... Well, she's not from here, first of all. She's not from Oregon. She doesn't know Oregon issues. She says she knows Oregon issues. No, she knows social issues. She's one of the first openly lesbian governors of this state, which is fine. I have no problem with anyone who loves someone else of the same sex. However, that shouldn't be a major platform that you run on. No, it should be about the issues. So, Governor Kotek, Miss Drazen, who's also running for governor, when's the full-scale audit of the state's coffers going to be done? I want to know that. I want to know, since the 60s, probably earlier, I want to know how much money Oregon has taken in from its citizens and how much money has actually gone out to the programs that they promised they would go out to. I want a full-scale audit. I do. I don't think Trump was wrong in wanting his Doge, but I think he went about it the wrong way because it's Trump. He's got this ego the size of Texas. He just wants to look good. And if it doesn't look good to him, he's going to terminate it and go find something else that he can look good at. But I seriously, if we don't get a full-scale audit with the next governor of this state, the people of Oregon should revolt. We cannot continue to stand idly by and be taxed by people who are, I believe, lining their pockets with taxpayer money because they can, because no one stopped them previously. And we need to... That's your money, Oregonians. That's your money. Why are you letting them do what they're doing with the money? All of the things that they promised, a lot of taxes going to... Like, let's say the marijuana tax, for that example, right? How much of the marijuana tax money, the 20%, that's the only income... that's the only sales tax Oregonians have approved, by the way, is a marijuana sales tax. Wow. The only one in this state that we've ever approved. 20% is supposed to go, a lot of it, to the education system, is it not? Isn't that what they promised when they first instituted this tax? When they've looked into it, they've realized, oh, most of it hasn't gone into the education system. So where did it go? Because they talk about all the marijuana that they sell and the millions of pounds of surplus that we have in this state that we can't get rid of because you can't trade interstate because it breaks the federal law, which, who gives a shit? Oh, sorry. Who gives a crap about that? The feds shouldn't be dictating how... The only thing that they should be doing is instituting that we have rights given to us by God that we can't take away, and they're to defend those rights till their death. The federal government. They've slowly eroded at your rights since before FDR. Why are we allowing this to happen?
Well, John, in all due respect, that's what we're sitting in there. It's a wake-up call.
It should be.
That's what we're doing now.
We're trying, but I fear people are so comfortable. They're getting very uncomfortable, but enough people are still comfortable that they won't do anything about this. You talk to someone on the street and you can say politicians are corrupt, and you'd probably find 9 times out of 10 the person on the street agrees with you. Politicians are corrupt. Why are we, the American people, allowing corrupt politicians to run the government?
Well, but they're the leading vote. They will never.
Do we even have a vote in this country?
Well, only the Congress.
No. What I'm saying is we participate in votes yearly, every 2 years, every 4 years. Are our voices being heard, or are they just playing the puppet act to make you feel like you are actually being heard? But really,
we're not voting.
Since at least JFK, those elections have been rigged. It was rigged in JFK's favor, and when JFK didn't decide to follow the party line or the instructions he was given by whoever was running the puppet show, they killed him. They murdered him. He was doing great things. JFK, I used to think that JFK was a bad person because he was a Democrat, because I grew up, blah, blah, blah. Then you look back at some of the things that he did. He tried to keep us out of war. Talk about a president that has tried to keep us out of war since World War II. I don't know of many. Trump was in his first election, in his first term. Now he's trying to go to war with the Venezuelans over oil. They're lying to us. They're lying to us. They're lying to us. How much longer will we allow them to lie to us before we do something about it?
Well, election day is right around the corner.
Yeah, we got a year. We're
come March.
Yeah, March for the primary.
Yeah.
For the primary.
Well, that's the start.
So well, yeah, but the end goal is the actual election in November 2026.
Right. Well, someone sitting in that seat that has to come from the primary.
You're right.
So no one else is that. That's it. So there's two opportunities there.
Well, I think actually that there shouldn't just be two opportunities. I think that this two-party system, as Mr. Jackson also said, that wasn't the intent of the founding fathers. Right. Yes, there were some partisan founders, but they came from both sides of the aisle, and they compromised, with the help of God, on the document that we have, that is the Constitution of the United States. They compromised. It wasn't I'm so stuck in my belief system and you're evil because you believe opposite of me. And I want to kill you because you believe opposite of me. No, they didn't agree on everything, but they came to compromises.
They did the same thing on race.
Yes.
The
did,
Civil War,
right? Well, that was Civil War, but even some of the founders were totally against slavery.
Well, I know, but my point that they agreed initially to put the piece together.
They knew it would be.
Yeah, and then Lincoln got.
It would be destructive to the United States if they ended slavery at the institution of the United States. Sadly, that's the truth. Yeah. We would have never existed if they ended slavery at the beginning of the creation of this country.
That's right.
Sadly.
That's right.
I hate that this country ever participated in slavery, but we are just one of the last. I mean, there are still countries enslaving people to this day. Yeah. China is enslaving the Africans right now to mine all of the minerals that you need for your electric cars. Wake up, people. Like, stop talking about what the founding fathers did and start talking about what the Chinese are doing to the Africans. That's ridiculous. Africans were enslaving Africans and then selling them to Americans in the New World. Some of the worst perpetrators of slavery were themselves to each other on the African continent. They rounded up the biggest, strongest Negroes that they could, and they sold them to the white people. Why don't we talk about those issues? Why don't we talk about China right now enslaving Africans to mine the minerals that you use for your precious electric cars that are actually more damaging to this country than gas, than oil? Because you think about all of the emissions that have been put out in refining these minerals or getting these minerals. The carbon footprint just doesn't match up. The amount of money that goes in, or the amount of carbon exuded from the process of getting these minerals ready, doesn't even come close to what people are doing with their cars, with their gas running cars.
But it's on the table now, as you know.
Because it's a moneymaker.
No, my point. But,
Enslaving people is a
no,
moneymaker.
but I'm saying they're saying those
And
words.
our government is complicit in the enslavement of Africans in Africa right now.
No, they're saying they're going to be going with gasoline more.
Well, Trump says
That's what I'm
that.
saying. But
Let's see who was in before him. Joe Biden, who was a puppet, by the way. He wasn't actually doing anything during those 4 years. He was asleep at the wheel while other people were telling us that he was doing things. His party is all about renewable resources, and that we're killing this world with the consumption of oil-based products that we are. I'm telling you, they're lying to you. Not only do we have to wake up from the political system, you have to wake up from the lies that corporations are telling you. Our country, unfortunately, thanks to the Citizens United decision by the United States Supreme Court, is run by corporations. Corporations can donate to politicians as if they are an individual. Dangerous. That's a dangerous precedent that the United States Supreme Court set. And yet, it's enforced today. Go look at what Ron Wyden is getting from healthcare companies. Go look at what Ron Wyden is getting from other companies. Our other senator or our other representatives on the national stage. Look at who's paying them. And you'll generally find that's how they vote. They're not voting what their constituents are asking. They're voting for, oh, this guy gave me $1 million. I should probably vote for him. Otherwise, I won't get that. I won't get the re-election bid, because they're going to make sure that they hire someone else to do my bidding. But they're going to... it's all flawed. The whole system is flawed, and it needs to be fixed. Amongst many things, term limits need to be established on the federal level for Congress members. But you know they'll never do it because they're writing the laws.
That's right.
And they're making the money.
That's right.
And when they instituted a 2-term limit on the president after FDR took 4 terms, 3 or 4 terms as a tyrant, they had the opportunity to evaluate the whole system. And I'm sure they did. Well, I mean, if we're going to do this to the president, we might want to look at doing it to ourselves too. Wait. No. We don't want to do that. Because we're doing good in this arena. We're helping the American people. Well, because they didn't institute term limits at the same time that they institute term limits for the president, now we have members of Congress who have been in for decades, who have done nothing helpful for the American people. They spout off, like Bernie Sanders, he spouts off that he's for the American worker, right? Look at who's donated to him after his presidential bid when he lost against Hillary Clinton, who was instrumental in making sure that he did not win the Democratic nod during that election against Donald Trump the first time. She was instrumental with the DNC in stopping Bernie Sanders from getting to the office of president, or the office of, or the primary, winner. She was instrumental. Hillary Clinton, one of the most evil people to have ever been a part of the government. Same with Bill Clinton. They have a lot of skeletons in their closet that people should look into. But that's true of most of the political dynasties in Washington, is it not? Look at the Bush family. Where did they get their wealth? Oh, that's right. They were the bankers who funded the Nazis. Did you know that? The Bushes were instrumental in making sure that the Nazis were able to do what they did. No one talks about this stuff.
But it's all documented.
It is documented.
You can Google it.
Yeah. That's how the Bushes got. And And if you guys don't understand, like, you can almost pinpoint every future U.S. president being in Dallas the day that JFK was assassinated. They were in the arena. They were there. I mean, LBJ, well, don't get me started on LBJ, but what did he say about people of color? If we give the ends welfare, they'll vote Democrat for the rest of their life. I can't say the word.
The niggers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Niggers. If I give the niggers enough welfare, they'll vote Democrat for the rest of their lives. But thankfully, we have African Americans who are waking up to that.
Right.
They can see that LBJ was... Welfare is not a good thing. And FDR putting it into place when he did as part of his Great New Deal, he kneecapped our country. We don't need handouts. We need to be taught how to work for things in this country. And you guys talked about it perfectly on the last show. Young people need to learn. I firmly, amongst many of the things that are wrong with this state, education is one of them.
That is huge.
I remember in 2010, we were one of the top states in the nation when it came to education. Well, that's when I graduated high school, 2010. Now, we're in the bottom.
Yep.
We're like one of the worst states in the nation in education. Why? There's a lot of money going into education in this state. Nationally as well. But there's a lot of money going into that. I personally believe the Oregon... Maybe it's a national thing, but I believe that...
Say it. Lay it out.
They're trying to keep our children stupid. They don't want a nation of educated citizens. They want a population of uneducated adults who follow orders blindly. What are our kids learning? They're learning that we have to listen. We just have to do this. It frightens me where this country has come. And if people don't stand up, if people don't rally behind the Constitution and reestablish what was, and maybe even fix some of the things that the Founding Fathers missed, like term limits on Congress, maybe we have a fighting shot. And also, get on your knees and pray. For God's sake. We can't do this anymore without God. That's why we are slowly dwindling as the world's #1 superpower. We've forgotten God. And the Chinese, they don't believe in God. But they're hard workers.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they don't work hard, they might not live. They might not live if they don't work hard. I wouldn't want to live in an oppressive regime like that. Thank God I live in the United States of America, where I can be as lazy as I want, but it only hurts me and those around me and doesn't help them. Work. That's a fundamental, if not eternal principle. Work. You have to work. Handouts don't work. Work does. So let's get to work. I mean, what our governor Kotek, why isn't she out on the streets helping the Oregonian people every single day? Mm-hmm. Why is she sitting in Salem behind security doors where no one can get to her, making her press conferences, glad standing.
She sold her home, from Portland. She sold her home.
I didn't know that.
Yep, she sold her home. She
So
she was living in North Portland. No, she got. She said.
Well, she's living in the governor's mansion now, right? Where's she going to go after this?
Well, she said she's
going to go back to.
She's running again.
Well, she says she's running again. Yeah. She's going back to the East Coast. She doesn't give two craps about this state, ladies and gentlemen. The sooner you realize that and stop re-electing these people who hate you and hate this state, the better off you'll be. We should be seriously looking for people who are honest, who have integrity, and my personal opinion, are faithful. We need people who don't believe that they have all the answers, but they can turn to the source of all truth to get those answers.
You know this singing artist, a guy by the name of Sam Cooke? Does that ring a bell?
I'm familiar with Sam Cooke.
And there was a song that he sung. There's a change coming. Remember that one? Hell of a song.
Well, what?
Right?
I don't know that. I need.
You better listen. Check it out again.
I will. So I also think one of my Kendrick Lamar, he's sampled, I believe, or one of his songs, it was on Black Panther, was "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised," right? I think that's from an older '60s era, right? When the people end up revolting, you're never going to see it on the national news. Because the national news, I'm sorry to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, is just a propaganda arm of the federal government. They are not telling you real news. They're telling you what the government wants you to hear so that you're not pissed off that they're causing injustice to you. It's frightening that we've allowed ourselves to get to this level.
Well, John, but think about it. But you hear this saying, Sue, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yeah, and I believe...
What happened to that? What happened? Who's running this country?
I have theories. I have theories on what happened. One of them is, I believe that the bombs that they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki made them believe that there was no God, that they were God. That our government officials, in the blink of an eye, annihilated 2 population centers in Japan. They started believing, if we have this power, do we have to believe in a God, or are we God? Because we have all the power. And then you hear Joe Biden during his presidency, who was very happy about being part of the 1994 assault weapons ban that Congress put forth, and 10 years of no AR-15s or the like, because they were dangerous. But when that was repealed, and then he talks to the people on the campaign trail, but also as president, he says, you think you can stop us with guns? Well, we have F-16s and nukes. That's how you know that they believe that they are God, is they are threatening your life with things that you are paying for with your tax-paying money. Your government, your president, threatened you with death if you didn't willingly accept that they wanted gun control. It sounds like King George all over again. Does it not? Colonists, if you don't pay me tribute, if you don't listen to my laws, if you don't stop populating, if you don't disarm yourselves, I'm going to send my army, and I'm going to make sure that you regret the decisions that you made. Is that not how it felt when Joe Biden said we have F-16s and nukes? He was goading the populace by saying, you want to revolt? We'll kill you. You aren't citizens. You're subjects. We'll kill you. And people who are usurpers of the money that exchanges hands, not only on the national level, but on the state level, use unknown means to kill off their opponents. Like Dennis Richardson, who was the Secretary of State for this great state, who was looking into some of the heinous acts that some of our previous governors had performed. I mean, Goldschmidt had an affair with a 16-year-old. And Dennis Richardson started looking into that stuff. That was what he ran on. I'm going to do this. 6 months after being elected, he died of brain cancer. I don't know. That doesn't seem... Well, I don't believe in coincidence. When you start disrupting the money, people start threatening your life. I mean, we've had personal conversations. I firmly believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe that my father was killed for what he was doing for the people of Oregon in some of the cases that he was overseeing, or that he was asked to represent people. And it's hard to say that, because I wish there were not evil people like that in the world. But look at what Anthony Fauci did in Wuhan, China, with COVID. The gain-of-function research that he, through our taxpayer money, through NIH grants, through funding from the United States of America, Anthony Fauci, who believes himself to be God.
And he was
the director of, he was the HHS director during Trump's first term and also Biden's term, I believe. And he left his term after Biden for some time in Biden's term. But he authorized gain-of-function research, which propelled the COVID-19 pandemic by being, there was a lab leak in Wuhan, China, and our government was involved in the research of that virus. But our government doesn't take ownership for that. Who do they blame? China, as Donald Trump said. It comes from China, as he said, right? So while the origin of the virus is Chinese, yes, it was made in a Chinese lab, it was actually an American virus that devastated the world. Think of all the people in Italy that died. Think of all the people in New York City that died. We had, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's the current HHS secretary, has gone out and said we had a higher mortality rate in the United States, having less populace of the world than any other nation. That's alarming, because not only does it show that they don't care about us, they didn't expect the lab leak to happen, but, or maybe they did, who knows, but the way that our country is currently, I mean, we're at the unhealthiest that we've ever been in our lives. You grew up in a different time than me, right?
You're right. Yeah.
What was what was JFK's standard for education, for physical education?
Ooh.
It was difficult.
Yes, very much so.
Very difficult. Now, is there one? No. We have obese children
That's right.
who pound down the sugar, which is more addictive than some drugs. Sugar is so addicting. Our consumption has has absolutely exponentially grown. I don't know.
We're waking up, though.
I hope we are.
Yeah, John.
I really hope we are, because at some point, I think people on both sides, Democrats, Republicans, are going to realize that these aren't the people that are in those parties that they say that they're Republican or say that they're Democrat. They don't actually believe that. They're just lying to you. And behind, they fight each other in Congress, right? They love to just, oh, I don't like what this guy's doing. I don't like what this guy's doing. Whatever. Behind closed doors, they're all best friends.
Having drinks.
Yeah. They're play acting to make you, the American people, fight one another based on their supposed beliefs.
The system is there.
Right. Well, the two-party system.
Right.
It is time for a third party to rise up from the ashes that is the two-party system. It is time to, as I like this from Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen. I don't know if you watched Game of Thrones or read the books. Daenerys Targaryen comes over from a foreign country because she was whisked away from her homeland because they were going to murder her because she was part of the ruling class before a revolution, right? So she comes back to try and reclaim the throne that she believes was unrightfully taken from her family. And someone's like, oh, it sounds like you're going to stop the wheel. The wheel of people. There's this family and this family and this family and this family, and you're just going to stop it. She's like, no, I'm not here to stop the wheel. I'm here to break the wheel. And I'm telling you, fellow Oregonians, fellow Americans, it's time to break the two-party system apart. We need a third viable party.
What about the independent party?
No. We need.
It's a breakaway.
It's a break. Yeah, sure, it's a breakaway. But who votes independent these days?
But they do vote.
Yeah, they do. Ralph Nader never had a snowball's chance in hell of winning president.
I understand that. Yeah.
Because the independent party is not a viable third party.
Can it be initiated?
I think if we're going to see a viable third party in this country, it's going to be a party that rallies behind the Constitution of the United States. So I have toyed with the idea. I've thought about it. I firmly believe, I know that the Constitution Party is a thing, but it is found to be a very corrupt organization, so do not support the Constitution Party, please. But what's stopping someone from creating the American Constitution Party? Huh?
Okay.
We are Americans, after all. We're not Republicans. We're not Democrats. We're Americans. Where's the American Party? Where is it?
That created the system.
Yeah, I guess the founding fathers were the original American Party.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
But where is it now?
Yeah.
They had a lot more choices for candidates of president back when the founding fathers were in than we do now. We have our fair, we had the Communist Party who puts their people up, or the Green Party, or the Independents, or the Libertarians, or the Constitution Party. But the main two parties that anyone actually puts any weight behind are the Republicans and the Democrats, or the Democrats and the Republicans. It's those two parties. We need a third party. Because with the two-party system, it's easy to flop back and forth, majority rule. With a three-party system, just like with the checks and balances that the founding fathers originally set up, where the executive checks the legislative also checks the executive, and they both check the judicial, who also checks them. If we had a third viable party that checked the other two, ooh. But what I'm saying could get me killed, Bruce, because I'm disrupting the normal way of life that they've established for themselves over the last 75 plus years.
But the opportunity is here. It's on the table now.
I believe so, yes. I believe now is the time.
Yes, it's being discussed now.
If we do not do it now, I fear a tyrant worse than FDR will take office after Donald J. Trump. We have 3+ years to figure this out, people. 3+ years. What are we going to do? Are we just going to sit on our thumbs, or are we, let our thumbs go, or are we going to do something about it? Are we going to get up off of our asses and do something about it? It's time. Well, let's be honest. Jefferson believed we are far past the breaking point. Thomas Jefferson believed in a 20-year revolution. Overthrow the government every 20 years or so. Imagine if a government was constantly afraid that they would be... How good would that government work?
Yeah,
if they knew that,
20 years, yeah.
They had 20, or let's say they're halfway in, right?
Right.
10 years from now, the people are going to revolt and remove us from power. So we might want to do good by the American people.
Yeah.
But we didn't institute it. And frankly, I don't want bloodshed. I don't want war. I want peace. I do.
I know that.
Peace is essential to our own ability to hope for good things.
Yeah.
If we can't have peace, we are, we can't have hope for a better, brighter tomorrow, can we?
You're right. And peace for all of us.
It's not
all
white people, it's not the ruling class.
This race thing has to go. Let's go. I mean,
you're a man of flesh and blood. I'm a man of flesh and blood. Who gives a rat's behind if my color of skin is white, which it's very pale, and yours is a little darker than mine? Who cares?
Mine's red.
Okay, sorry. Yours is red.
Yours red.
Red. Oh, the blood inside of us. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the blood we bleed. But yes.
And Native Americans are not immigrants.
No, the natives deserve.
Yeah, they want.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, this has been great, John. You did a good job.
Well, thank you.
This is really good, and we need to. And again, take this situation and create one. Call your neighbors in, sit around the table and have those discussions. Honestly, we got an upcoming election. Now's the time, as John says. Now's the time.
Who knows? I might even run for office next year.
There you go. Every one of them that I've been interviewing, as far as I'm concerned, should run. Got me? Well, look here. Have a good one. I will see you next week. And please, it's time for us to wake up. Wake up. And please, get away from the personality with i.e., the president. The president happens to be...
just a man.
Right? He's elected, right?
Oh, that too, yeah.
That's
but
right.
he's just
He's
a man.
but
he's no God.
But it's the seat is the issue, okay? Take care. I'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.